Hi, I'm here today with Jim Barger from Action Coach in Omaha. I have been working with Jim for several years now. Actually, we've known each other for several years, and it's been wonderful for my business. But this is a good time of year to talk about planning, and that's a lot of what we do when we spend time together, planning quarters or planning the upcoming years and things like that. So welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks
It's great to be here.
I just wonder, out of all the business owners that you work with, do you feel that most of them spend time diligently planning for quarters and the upcoming years and things like that?
No, it's really the total opposite, of course. Business owners get so busy in the day-to-day business that they just think about, what have I got to do today, what have I got to do tomorrow, and they really don't think enough about the planning. And this is why, on the one hand, life is frustrating because every day is kind of a random event, and also we tend to then have to just deal with random crises, and this is what makes life so stressful sometimes as a business owner.
I think it would be kind of easy to get in that mode. If you talk to a peer who's a business owner, what's up with you? Oh, I'm just putting out fires.
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So you kind of think that it's the norm until you realize it doesn't have to be the norm.
Sure, that's right, and it doesn't have to be the norm. That's the great news. But business owners, a lot of times also, they get into their business because they have a trade or they understand a particular area of business, so they start a business around that, and so they know how to do the work, and so then they tend to get drawn into doing the work all the time. And most people are not planners by nature, so they don't start with a business thinking, I'm going to go in and start planning. But it is one of the key roles of a business owner. Nobody else can really have a vision of where the business can go. It's up to the business owner to kind of decide that. And if they don't, then that vision never gets thought through or planned out, and no other person in the business can come forward with that idea.
I think you hit on something that is key, is maybe that is an undervalued task that we should be doing. We forget that it just doesn't seem like you see maybe that immediate payoff of the moment, but it is very important to make sure the longevity of your business and stability.
Sure. Yeah, and that's one of the key roles, or the only role the person that can do it is that. The other one is kind of the designer. They have to be able to design the business. Things like the culture of a business tend to be random again, but they should be a designed structure. They should be something that the business owner decides, this is how I want my business to run and how my team should work together. So we should write those words down sometimes and have a clear picture of where we want that to go. And then the third key role of an owner is to develop a team that can actually work the business for them. So those three roles really are the three critical roles of a business owner, and are ones that nobody else really can do in a business.
So knowing that a lot of people that you work with, this is new to them, if the thought of planning the next year seems daunting, what would be three key areas that you can say, hey, start here, focus on these three things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that happens a lot when we kind of look at the beginning of the planning process. So usually in a business, one of the key areas is some sort of growth. What would I like the business to look like? And I usually ask, when you started this business, what did you envision it being? And maybe that's a 5-year picture or a 10-year picture or a 3-year. It's just, whatever somebody gets their head around. But start to say, well, if 3 years from now, what would I like to have in the business? And that might start to conjure pictures of revenue levels, numbers of employees, the position in the marketplace. All these things can come out of that discussion. But it's a good place to start. You don't have to have exact numbers. You just got a broad brush kind of pictures. And then from there, the next thing that you can do is start to bring that back to, okay, if we have to get to there, what do we have to do this year to work on to get to that level? And now we're much more specific for a 1-year plan. And I think obviously, again, some sort of financial results are as good, but team development, personal development certainly, and these are areas that you can do a lot just to kind of start to pull that together. And the final area would be getting it back to a 90-day structure. It's just easier to put down what do I need to work on this 90 days, and make a very clear path for me to work on. I don't have to think about it all the time. I just know I've got 3 or 4 things I have to get done in the next 90 days, and that's what we work on.
So I understand that maybe your 90-day plan doesn't change a lot, but if you're planning out for a year, just knowing that it's okay that your plan may change,
Right.
but it's easier to change something you already have some momentum in is a little easier than just starting mid-year from scratch trying to generate something, I would think.
There's a great quote by Dwight Eisenhower who said that in his experience, plans were useless, but planning was indispensable. And so I think what he's saying there is that in the end of the day, your plan may or may not happen as you had it laid out, but the process of planning, thinking about things, thinking through strategies to accomplish it, this is where we learn and stretch our thinking, and we're now in a position to react better when things do maybe not go according to plan. We can redo our plans more accurately and quicker that way. So I think that's great. I think just the idea of planning itself helps people grow and think differently about their business.